Right, this is route to day 2 then. So we're starting off here from the Castleshaw Centre, and from the Castleshaw Centre we're going to be leaving out on this pathway here until you get to this first road, which is Millcroft Lane. As this pans round, see here that you're going to follow Millcroft Lane up and all the way up here. We're now going ascending up the hill through this section here, and then continuing up more or less on the same bearing until we get to the checkpoint, which is here at Heights Church. I'll point out Heights Church to you from the campsite. Again, the marker I leave on the railings of the church, so even though it says that you go along there, you'll actually have to come down here to where the checkpoint marker is. But from there you're going to walk up this track this way until you come then to come up from there until you come here to this junction, at which point you're going to turn and walk through, following now these paths, these tracks which turn into paths, which bring you down, follow through here, bring you down here over to Delf Road. So there's Denshaw in the distance over there. As you get round to Delf Road, you're going to go straight down the pathway here until you get to the river in the valley. Follow the river stream for a little bit there, and then start to ascend up here and then up this rather steep pathway until you come to this main road here, which is, well, if you were to go along the road this way, you would be ending up at Grange Bar. Okay, but from here you need to cross over the road, and you're going to be moving on then onto the Crompton Circuit. Now, down here, in this area around here, there is a telegraph pole which will have a checkpoint marker against it, pinned to it. That is your second checkpoint, and it also is the point where the checkpoint marker is the point where you get on the path that will take you away from the road and take you actually up. Oops. So now that'll take you up the hill. Okay, away from the main road. You'll get up to this point here, and here you'll see that there's an electricity pylon. It's on your left-hand side. I'm going to go straight over, carry on along that bearing, pretty much straight over. You're on a bit of open countryside here. There's not an awful lot of markers around, so you're going to have to be careful with your bearings and with your observations. But once you've got over, you're going to then be coming down here. And when you get to this area here, you'll see there's quite a well-trod path that goes up there, and around here also there's some signposts. They may well have things like Crompton Circuit signposts on them, or Brushes Clough Reservoir, and that's Brushes Clough Reservoir, excuse me, is here. And you're going to walk past that and then come down this way, and you'll end up coming out here on Buckstones Road. Okay. Now the key to this next point is to make sure that you don't go into the housing estates. If you go into the housing estates, you've gone wrong pretty much. The map definitely says that you're going to go behind the housing estates. You might encroach on them ever so slightly, but let me just talk you through it. So you're going to walk down here. You'll end up coming out. It's actually, I mean, it shows you going down there. I think the pathway actually carries on to about here. Now this here is Grange Road. You should see a rather large flagpole around here, and there's a bloke who's got some chickens, free range eggs for sale. what he's got on his, there's a sign around there. You're going to go around the back of these houses. Okay, you'll see down there is Shaw Cricket Club. You should be able to see obviously the Briar Mill here and the large buildings that have the warehouse buildings for J.D. Williams. Come down here. So you take this, and then at this point here where the arrow is, you're now going to be parallel to the tram lines. Okay, the tram station is actually around about there. And you're going to walk along the farmland here. There's a stream that you're going to have to cross over a couple of times. So you get to this point, and here there's a safe crossing point over the tram lines. Make sure that you keep watching out for the trams at this point. They are quite quiet. They're not like the old trains that used to rumble past very, very loudly. They're pretty quiet. Up quite a steep hill here, and then you're going to go through this complex of farm buildings here, and this is the complex of farm buildings where my suggestion is that you really, try to be as quiet as you possibly can, so as not to disturb any people or any animals, be they livestock or be they dogs. Okay, and as you come through nice and quietly through there, you're not taking this track here that goes down towards Shoreside. You take this track here that comes out at St Joseph's Church, and this here is St Joseph's Church. Behind it is St Joseph's School. That's your final checkpoint. There should be somebody sat in the car park, a member of staff sat in the car park, otherwise we'll tie the checkpoint marker in that area. From there you're going to come kind of through around the housing estate. This is Royton and Crompton School here, but you're going to come through the housing estate, around, skirt around the edge of the school, and you will come then, I'll just take this here, you'll then come out at this point where there's a pedestrian crossing, a pelican crossing going across Shaw Road. You're actually going to go into that housing estate there and keep going more or less on the same building until you get down to this point where you could either turn right, again you'll have buildings, or we can turn left where you go out into this farmland. You're taking the left out into the farmland. You've got the farm buildings there, open fields around you, golf course beyond, and you're actually on the map going to go to this point here where there's a stile through the fencing, and from there you need to take a bearing and go across the open land until you arrive skirting there the edge of the golf course. You're going to arrive then down at Low Crompton. And once at Low Crompton, you're going to go around Low Crompton Farm and then back up, I think through there and then through these buildings, so that then you come out in the estate here, which is opposite school. You can see the finish line from here. You're going to come round, then go through the estate and end up there at the school gates. And from the school gates, all you've got to do then is find your own way without a map or a compass to the dining rooms, and you're done.